Hi guys, I'm Johnny from Cinema 5D and greetings from Japan. Today on my table is the new FUJIFILM X-T4. And if you are like me, an owner of the X-T3, and you would like to know more about the video capabilities of the new camera and if it's worth the upgrade, well, you're in the right place and let's find out. So I've been running with the new X-T4 for the past few weeks, and the good news is that Fujifilm kept all the goodies of the X-T3 when it comes to video capabilities. The H.264, H.265 codec, the dual codec, the 4K up to 60p, the LCD touchscreen, the all intra, the color sampling, those are all here. So what's new? The main thing for me is the IBIS. You can use the stabilizer in 3 modes. The first mode is just to activate it inside the body of the camera. The second mode is to activate it together with a stabilized lens. Please be aware that when you do this, the image will crop a little bit. And the third option, which is my favorite, is named Boost. In this mode, the camera is supposed to mimic a tripod, very steady shot. Actually, for me, I found out that it's working very well also when running and gunning. What it does, it's supposedly moving the stabilizer even more than normal. The tolerance is greater and the results are very interesting. For documentary work, I don't like to work with a gimbal because it's another equipment that I need to take with me, it's more batteries, but for most it's the movement. The movement is much too smooth, especially when I'm following objects, people and so on. So yeah, this is a very nice combination between a certain fluidity and performance, and still it's not completely smooth. So it has this right balance, at least for me. So how about the grip itself? With the X-T3, the grip was a little bit too thin, even to my small hand. Yeah, it was kind of not 100% comfortable. You felt like something is a little bit missing here. And with the X-T4, because the camera is a little bit larger, the grip was redesigned, and now, at least for me, it's working very well. I was able to work for days with this combination, the X-T4 and the XC 15 to 45 millimeter. And yeah, no fatigue, nothing, very, very comfortable to hold. So if now there's IBIS on board, of course the camera will consume more power. And what Fujifilm did is replace the X-T3 smaller batteries with a larger one. When I say larger, it means they're a bit bigger, but also the capacity is higher. And one more thing, and that will be an accessory, that this is a new charger. You can simultaneously charge 2 batteries. It's working well and quite fast, but this is an extra. Next is the LCD screen. Finally, Fujifilm are doing a swiveled LCD screen. If you're doing vlogging, for example, and you want to talk to the camera together with the IBIS, that will function rather well. On top of the new features like the IBIS, the swiveled LCD and the new batteries, Fujifilm also implemented some other stuff. The first one is when you're using F-Log. Up until now, if you use the View Assist, it will just give you a random color. Now, this color is up to a standard, the BT709, meaning what you see is what you get, and this is extremely useful. The other feature that we get is the dual SD recording. This is not for proxies. This is the actual high quality file being recorded twice, so this is more for backup. Another new feature is the ability to record in full HD in up to 240 frames per second. The sensor is the same in both the X-T4 and the X-T3 cameras. The processor behind it is the same, but since there's a change in algorithm, it allows the recording of such a high frame rate up to 240 frames per second. Two things to know when you're using the high frame rate. One, autofocus will be functional, and there's a certain crop. The 1.29 crop is implemented, so this is just something to remember. Talking about cropping, since there are different modes and different frame rates and different stabilization modes, for example, there's a way to lock the crop mode on 1.29 in all modes. How about the low light capabilities of the new camera? What I really like is that you don't lose the feeling, meaning you can shoot in low light and you can see it's low light, it's not exaggerated. So in one hand, you have a really nice image in low light up to 12,800. The noise is there, but it's absolutely usable. Now, let's talk about the autofocus performance of the X-T4. The continuous autofocus in this camera is a bit of a mystery for me. On one hand, it can be rock solid, and I feel I can trust it in most cases. Then, it can behave unpredictably and produce those micro autofocus vibrations. One more thing is the rolling shutter. I think because of the implementation of the IBIS, the rolling shutter is better than the one found in the X-T3. We haven't been able to run it through our lab test yet, so I can't come with an exact figure, but at least to my eyes, the rolling shutter performance is much better. Other feature which is added to the camera is a new ETERNA Bleach bypass. What it does, it's doing a more contrasting image and less saturated. So the thing is what to do with this, because in the minute you shot like this, you're kind of stuck. But if you like the look, of course it's there, and yeah, if you like it, try it. There are additional improvements implemented in the X-T4, like for example, a dedicated photo movie switch, and there is also a mic line audio input level selector, and so on. So, how about sound? Well, here is the little catch. Since the camera size is a little bit different, and now there's IBIS inside, Fujifilm could not keep the 3.5mm headphone jack in the body. So what they did, they moved it to the grip. So if you want to monitor your sound with a 3.5mm headphones jack, you will have to get the grip. I have to say something about this grip. In previous models like the X-T3, the grip was also a charger, so it somehow made sense if you wanted to buy it in order to charge two batteries simultaneously. The current grip is not a charger. It just, you can use it, of course, to put two batteries. You can use the headphone jack, but it's not a charger. Personally, I would skip it. The other solution that Fujifilm is giving is this connector. This is a USB-C to a female 3.5, and it goes right here in the camera. And of course, now you can use your 3.5 headphones connector. Yeah, I've been running with this camera in the past few weeks in the snow, in the sun, in the sand, in the rain, and actually this type of connection, even if it's not ideal, it didn't let me down. Conclusion. Well, I think the Fujifilm X-T4 is the best APS-C sensor mirrorless camera currently in the market if you want to shoot video. The low light capability is very nice. The IBIS is doing a great job. The handling, like holding the camera, is very, very comfortable. Everything is almost there. Yeah, of course, this is a bit of an obstacle with the monitoring the sound, but it's also doable. As I said, I was running with this solution for the last few weeks, and it was always on the camera. I didn't even think about it. And the image quality and the ETERNA and the F-Log and the View Assist, all of those little things are making the X-T4 a much mature product if I compare it to the X-T3. When it comes to pricing, that camera will be, I think, $200 more than the X-T3, so it's kind of $1,700 if I'm not mistaken. And I personally will upgrade. Yeah, of course, I'm not encouraging anybody of you guys to buy anything new or spend the money. I think it's always good to try before you buy. But for me personally, just to know that I can work handheld now, especially with the IBIS, or put any, even the new anamorphic lens, the budget one. Before it was almost impossible to work handheld. You had these micro shakes. Right now with this IBIS, it will work very, very nice. Yeah, that's it for now, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you guys.